and they're just like up in the trees making this call. Like they sound annoyed. It's like
Okay.
meh. Like it just sounds like that.
I'm going to start the podcast with that. Wanted
right.
to get you on pretty soon because you're one of my favorite internet creator people.
Thank you, dude. You're my favorite person to talk to on a podcast.
Yeah.
No, I graduated in 2020.
Oh, right.
So then from there, I just started making TikToks because of COVID.
Yeah.
Right after we had the podcast, I had 2 videos get like crazy viral, like 36 million and 24 million. And both of them came with some weird, controversy or whatever. I worked with big cats and then I got interested in other stuff after that. But yeah, I was the lead guitarist in a band.
I don't know if anyone's asked you this before, but what's the origin of the beanie?
Honestly, okay, so
people send me your cat domestication video and your dog domestication video at least once a month, sometimes 3 times a month. Yeah, it's the wolf with like your eyes and lips on it, and I'm like, favorite dog breed, favorite extinct animal. Why were animals so big then? Favorite bug. What do dogs mean to you? What is your most memorable moment doing science education and you help somebody or something?
Oh, there's so many.
Fair.
Yeah.
Three, 2, 1. Welcome to episode, I think this is 5 of my YouTube podcast show. So wanted to get you first. I guess I was talking to the audience, but now I'm talking to you. Wanted to get you on pretty soon because you're one of my favorite internet creator people.
Thank you, dude. You're my favorite person to talk to on a podcast.
Really?
Yeah. A Life in Ruins, that episode we did was my favorite podcast so far, for sure.
We had a lot of fun with that, actually.
Yeah, that was really fun.
The cat story was wild, which I'll have to have you tell on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so 5th one, and with this podcast, I'm trying to focus on dogs as much as I can, but just animals and then anthropology, but also it's an excuse to interview other internet people. So
cool.
Kind of ask you some questions about that. And yeah, so I guess we can just dive in. One, how you doing?
I'm great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good. I just came out with a line of merch that I'm really excited about. So
okay.
Everything's good this week. Having a good week.
What's the merch?
I'm calling it the That We Know Of collection. It's kind of become a tagline of mine, just to represent, we know a lot in science, but there's a lot of shit we don't know. And that's really cool. Yeah. So I just threw that onto a few different designs of shirts and hoodies. And yeah, really excited about it.
Cool. And I guess this is stuff I had to learn too, but like drop shipping and all that and like all the new stuff. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So we're doing I'm working with this merch company that's doing a like pre-sale model. So it's like, I don't know the terms for any of it. So maybe it is what you just described, drop shipping, but it's like, you take the orders from a 2-week period and then produce the stuff from the order and then ship it out. So it takes longer for shipping for a lot of people, but yeah, I'm happy about it and hopefully it'll go very well.
That's way fancier. Like that means you're expecting a lot of orders. I didn't even think about that.
I don't know if I think it's because we didn't know how many orders we would get.
Okay.
So we didn't want to like produce too many shirts or whatever and just see every 2 weeks, like, okay, who wants stuff?
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. I did mine because everyone likes my logo. So I decided to like put merch. I'm like, why not? But then when I first broadcasted it, I got a bunch of orders and then I was selling the art, like I did well too. But then I hate having to be like, hey guys, I have merch too. Like it's just a random, and those reels never do well. I don't know. Do you have a plan for that? You have a huge following, so.
I hate those reels too. I just like, I guess I feel weird about like advertising stuff. Like
Mhm.
I have a Patreon. I've maybe mentioned that like 4 times, you
Same.
know, it's like, it's just weird. It's weird to like market your stuff. Like, hey, here's like some different ways that you could spend money on me. It's just a weird thing to do, you know? And
Right.
yeah, I made one reel about the merch drop, and I know that I need to make a couple more, but it's like definitely my least favorite thing to do.
Yeah. And I guess you've been doing this for a bit, so you have to do your taxes and all that. Do you have like an LLC and stuff?
Yeah, I have an LLC. I just did it a couple months ago. Yeah, this is my okay. So last time we talked, I was still working as a teacher. That was like my main thing, and
Oh,
I
right.
wasn't making like any money from TikTok. So that wasn't like taxes like that weren't even on my mind. And then I quit my teaching job in October of last year, and then all of a sudden, all of this shit, you know, with keeping track of everything and like having to send stuff out to different people, it felt like it slapped me in the face. And so I'm trying to be really good about keeping track of everything for taxes now, because it's just so complicated, you know. I'm sure you have experience with that.
Yeah, you just reminded me that I forgot to send out stickers to this place called Flying Bucket Farm, so I'm writing that down right now. Sorry, guys. uh, yeah, but no, for sure, because I did the LLC a few years ago when I first started all this, just in case. I don't know. I didn't know what you're supposed to do, and I was like, "What if I get sued for saying something wrong?" So
Right.
I have a business, and then, but like this past year, and now that I live in the converted school bus too, it's like I got to put all my gas on the business, and then internet, all that, and then I have Squarespace, but then Meta pays me now, TikTok pays me, and then Google, and then I have like art supplies and stuff, and the taxes are like, I see why people hire, like I can't do it. Like I'm gonna go to jail, I guess is
Yeah, I decided early on that I would have somebody handle my tax stuff, because I'm not daring to touch it by myself.
yeah, it's probably for the best because every time I'll do it on like TurboTax, and it's like, what kind of LLC are you? A 6.4 or like a 7 or a Q? And I'm like,
Like
hit the
what?
button. Yeah. But I mean, luckily I don't make enough money for the IRS to come after me. But yeah. So I don't know, but you have a book and stuff, so I imagine you're doing well, I guess would be the word.
Yeah, everything's going really well. I mean, I had been doing just short form content on TikTok and Instagram for like 2-3 years, and then I switched over to YouTube about a year ago. Started throwing up all of my short form content on there, doing long
Smart.
form content, and it has just completely changed everything. Like a year ago, I felt like, you know, with short form content, I felt like I had to make videos every single day, because like I
Mhm.
just wasn't making enough to be able to skip a day, and it was unbelievably stressful, feeling like I was putting in all of this work for like little to nothing back. Um and then YouTube just like, I mean, all the shorts from, you know, years ago started doing well on YouTube, and um yeah, it's been a game changer. The book is doing really well because of YouTube, and
Good.
yeah, yeah. I'm very, very content not making short form content every day anymore.
Yeah. Dude, I respect your grind. Like you always pump them out, and like there's another one, and then sometimes like, did I see that one? And then I'll look at it, and then uh yeah, you have, it's dedication. I respect it.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I
But
mean,
the
it's easy when you enjoy doing it, you know? I mean, there's definitely like rough patches, but I just like researching stuff, so
yeah.
it's yeah.
So do you like, you still do that yourself, like sit with and just look at articles or whatever, or read books and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so I I'm with this management company now,
Oh,
and
nice.
they mostly do like lifestyle creators, beauty creators, and so they want me to get on a pretty consistent schedule with like posting one long form video a week, which
Oh
I was
man.
like, I cannot do that by myself. Like we can maybe get to a month in. But we decided that it would be best for me to hire a research assistant. And so that just happened a couple weeks ago. So
Okay.
already it's a huge weight off my shoulders. I essentially I have him start, finding different papers and writing some notes about the papers like a week before I'm going to start doing the research. So like he has a really good base for me. And so that's super helpful. I'm still reading all of the papers and everything. And it's just like a game changer to have somebody else helping me with it, And so the goal is, now that I'm like getting consistent with him and everything, we're going to start putting out one long form video a week, which just still at this point sounds pretty impossible, but we'll hopefully get there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I've been thinking about hiring like an intern or something to do that. I never thought about calling it a research assistant. That's smart.
Yeah. Yep.
But did I mean, it lightens the load for sure. But was the process for that like you just put out an email or like email me your resume kind of thing, or did the company find it for you?
So we were going about it a couple different ways. We were looking at different like job boards or like posting stuff on like entertainment careers, which didn't come back with anything because we needed a science person.
Yeah.
And I ended up like talking to my patrons about it. And somebody who is currently studying zoology reached out to me. He was like, I'll help. And so I had him go through this, process of like, okay, like show me how you would give me notes for this paper or whatever. He killed
Awesome.
it. And so I've just been working with him, which works out really well because, he was a fan of my content before. He knew what kind of stuff I put in my videos. And so it was really easy to like transition into that. Like, okay, like I know, the types of information I'm looking for. So yeah, definitely the best way to do it, I think.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. I'm proud of you. This is like it's
Thank
watching
you.
you go up and stuff. But
Thank you.
yeah, no, of course. The question I had written down was like, I guess I can segue into this. How do your parents like feel about this stuff? Because when I explained to when I was like, hey, I'm quitting my 72 grand job a year with my master's degree to be on the internet, they were like, no. So like, how does it feel doing all this, I guess, and then your parents and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for my parents. They've always
Yeah.
been really supportive. When I was in high school, I was in a band, and like they were helping us book all of our gigs and everything. And like my dad was a roadie, and like they've
Oh,
always been
cool.
super supportive. Their concern was always like, you shouldn't be doing this full time unless you know for a fact you can make enough to like pay rent and everything.
Yeah.
And so that's why I held on to the teaching job as long as I did. But then in June of 2022, I had the opportunity. TikTok reached out to me and they asked me to be in their commercial. And so I didn't know what to expect from that, but I ended up like technically becoming like, I'm not in SAG, but it was a SAG commercial. So I
Yeah.
got like paid as a SAG actor. And so I got residuals from that. And I was like, now's the time, like now's to make the jump, now's the time to make the jump. And that kind of gave me a cushion to like, okay, now I'm going to build up my YouTube, and then hopefully I'll start making money on YouTube once this money runs out. And it worked out, and they were super supportive, and they just want to make sure that I can have a roof over my head. And so
Yeah.
they've been really happy with how everything's going. Yeah, love them. Super supportive.
Good. Yeah, same. My parents have been nothing but supportive of my archaeology career for sure. Because they both, if I said I wanted to be a nurse or a doctor or a pilot as a kid, they were like, no, and they're nurses. But then when I said archaeologist, they were like, for whatever reason, respected the shit out of that. And I was like, oh.
Hell yeah.
Turns out my mom wanted to be a curator. So that kind of helped. But they didn't realize that archaeology and like most field sciences don't make any money. So
Right.
I lucked out into my jobs with my masters and stuff, and then knowing people sounds really weird, but it's kind of how it works in like most fields. And just like kind of Forrest Gumping my way into stuff. But then when I started getting big, or not, I mean, I wouldn't say big, but when it started like blowing up and it was taking up most of my mental space during the day, like what am I going to post, or what time do I post, or I
Right.
put 16 hours into that video, why does it only have 1,000 views right now, you know?
Right.
And it was just, that was hard. And then I quit and did my stuff, and they were like, all right, like go for it. And then even in my head too, I was just like, oh shit. And then I put the dog lecture up last year that I did, and that took off, and then my YouTube grew, and then I was like, oh, you do make money on YouTube. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so weird.
It's really weird, like going from relying on TikTok for money to then going to YouTube and seeing what YouTube offers you, and you realize like, oh shit, like TikTok was like taking advantage of me. Like
Really?
I mean, like I
It's just
had this
different.
one video like a year ago get 36 million views on
Holy
TikTok.
shit.
From that video, I still did not, like, the amount of money I made from that video was not enough to pay rent. That's crazy. Like 36 million views, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, it's like that's kind of up there with the biggest like numbers you could probably get on TikTok. Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
it's like, wow, okay. And then I don't know, the rates are different. Like even YouTube Shorts, like you get paid better on YouTube Shorts than you do on TikTok still.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre. And I think I don't know if you're in the TikTok creativity program
Yeah.
that they're putting out. Yeah. So like that was obviously to keep people from re-uploading their shit on the shorts, YouTube Shorts,
Oh,
because
right.
I mean it has to be over a minute long. So then you can't put it on YouTube Shorts.
I never thought of that. I just thought it was to keep people on, well, I guess in general, yeah, but with ads and whatnot. But yeah, I didn't see that. But yeah.
Yeah. It's bizarre. What were we talking about? I don't remember. I kind of went on a tangent.
No, you're fine. It's just, I was asking you about your parents and, quitting your job and stuff, but
Oh yeah.
it's just weird because I don't get to talk about this with other archaeology friends. And like, we'll talk about, homo this and like rocks, but then I can't talk to them about editing or, what it's like to wake up to 16,000 comments that some of them are calling you out for something or yeah, it's a different job and it's so new. So like, I was excited to talk to you about it, but
Yeah. No, I agree. I always feel so relieved when I'm able to talk to other science communicators because, especially being in LA, I don't know any science communicators out here, and so it's weird. And yeah, I went through this phase last year where I felt this enormous pressure to, and I guess I still feel it, not as much anymore, but like this enormous pressure to be right all the time. Because if I wasn't right, even on just the smallest thing, then like, who the fuck am I? Like, why am I doing this? When like, realistically, like we're human beings, like we're gonna make a mistake sometimes, but it really weighed on me like a year ago. And like, if I, got comments on a video like, hey, like what you said here was wrong, I would fucking lose it, like spiral, like, question everything that I'm doing. And that's why another reason why I'm glad I moved to YouTube, because I am much just in a long form format, you can explain like in more detail, like I got this from this paper that, to be honest, I didn't really understand. So like, take this for what it is.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like there's no room for that in short form content. So it's cool to like just be able to appear more as a human rather than a textbook and be able to make those mistakes and everything. Cause that's just such a tough part of like science communication on the internet. People just expect you to be an expert on everything you talk about.
And especially with your like numbers and like, I get one thing I really like about you and like several other creators too, is whenever your videos come up, I know it's you because you're the beanie or the hat, you're right in front of it saying something funny. And then, your head comes in at different directions and stuff. So it's a Lindsay video. But then because of that though, and your numbers are huge, like people probably look to you as like an authority on stuff. And I can see that weighing because it weighs on me, and I have a fraction of what you got. So you okay?
I'm good right now. If you had asked me a year ago, I would have said, no, I'm not okay. Yeah. It's, I mean, luckily I'm in a really good spot with my YouTube community. Like it's just so supportive, you know.
Yeah.
I think what I realized is that like I wasn't being like honest. I wasn't presenting myself honestly, I guess. Like especially a year ago. I mean, right after we had the podcast, I had 2 videos get like crazy viral, like 36 million and 24 million. And both of them came with some weird, you know, controversy or whatever. And I just shelled myself up. I felt like I didn't want people to perceive me, I guess. And I like subconsciously built this persona that wasn't me in like talking really aggressively all of a sudden, always looking angry. And I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I was like just like protecting myself, like just building something that could be criticized that's not me, I guess.
Yeah.
And when I moved to YouTube, I was like, I just want to I want to talk. And like I still do like I do talk a specific way that's kind of like choppy, I guess, because people told me they liked it, so I just keep doing it. But
yeah, choppy as in like statements and sound bites, like
staccato, like
yeah,
like kind of pointy, like talk pointy, I guess.
no, it makes
sense. But I just decided like I'm not gonna go into YouTube like I just want to be myself and like say, you know, yes, I have a zoology degree, but I'm not a PhD. Like I'm not an expert. I'm researching this stuff before I make the video, and I like want you to know that I feel like we're learning this together, not I'm teaching you stuff type of thing. And like presenting it that way felt way more authentic, and it just like it helped me build like a nicer community and like people who just like want to learn and like, you know, whatever. And I'm so happy with where it's at now, because like if I'm wrong, then I'll, you know, all right, sorry, like I'll make the correction in the next video.
Yeah.
So
no, it's tough, man, because especially like everyone loves dogs. So with my thing, anything I post where somebody's like, well, actually, like I saw a study, and then it's like, well, not every scientist agrees on 1, what species is. So then 2, like, how are you going to figure out what exactly the dog is originated from? And it would drive me insane because I was like, oh no. And I would spiral, just like you said, because I would get called out for X, Y, and Z, or this isn't right, or that's just your opinion. And I want to present as, you know, that I know what I'm talking about. But then I realized, you know, it's just, someone's always going to say, actually, or just say something, or they'll be like, this wasn't funny. I'm like, cool. Well, thanks for the algorithm boost. And I just kind of like look at it like that. Or my favorite is when people will comment to tell you that they're unfollowing or like message you. Because sometimes I always read those and I take them to heart. Because if it's something that I'm doing wrong, or, you know, I said something like I want to make sure I'm doing better, like socially or whatever. But then if you comment to tell me that you're unfollowing, like you're only helping me, really. And then like it's just the comment in general. So I just kind of looked at it like that, and I stopped caring. But occasionally, like I'll post a video where I just, especially on TikTok, it's a crapshoot. I'll get 1,000 views one day, and then the next one makes 2.2 million, and then well, views, not money. And then I'll wake up to so many comments, and I had said something wrong, and then what was it? I pronounced Tenochtitlan wrong in a video, and I said Tenochtitlan, and all these people were like, I mean, rightfully, and like it was just kind of intense, like calling me a colonizer, and then I did everything wrong, and like, it's like I just mispronounced the word. I'm so sorry. And then usually I can get in there with a comment and that will get boosted up saying like, hey, sorry, I did it wrong. But that one comment calling me out had like a couple thousand likes on it, and it just like it makes you spin because you're like, oh man,
Oh
I should have caught that.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like the next day I just posted a video and, you know, explained my bad and like, here's how you actually say it. Nahuatl is a really difficult language, and that got, you know, I think 10,000 views max. So it didn't, not all those people saw it. So you just kind of, I guess it just goes away after a day or two, you know?
Yeah, it goes away, but it's also, I mean, no matter what, it's difficult to be on the receiving end of it, I think. Okay, well, I have a couple thoughts based on what you said. I think like people correcting you with like a, hey, what about this paper where this says this?
Yeah.
I think a lot of that comes from like just the desire to like feel like you know more than somebody, like
And
that the person, you know, and let people know and like kind of feel like good about yourself a little bit that day. And it's just weird when it's difficult when it's coming from multiple different directions, because it feels like everyone's aware of all of those directions that it's coming in, when they're only seeing it from like, I'm sending it off from this single point, you know? It's like, it's so easy to feel like you're being like surrounded by the criticism, I guess.
Yes.
When nobody else is perceiving it that way. It's just, yeah, it's weird to get out of that mindset, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially in, you know, a situation where like in science communication, like it's not only about being like pleasant or funny or, you know, appealing, like it's also about being right with like really difficult shit. And it's just a lot of pressure no matter what.
Yeah. First off, let's hold that thought. I'm going to hit the button to re-record and we'll be right back. But I got a response to that. And we're back. This episode is sponsored by fire. It's about 1 million years old. Do you have anything to say about fire?
Love fire.
Fire's great.
Fire's hot.
Over top. Fire is hot.
Yeah.
It's very apt. We'll talk about the sponsorship water later. But
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a new field, and I talked to my professors about it, and I live in the town right now where I went to grad school, so I'm like at that community, and it's really weird going to like the digs and stuff and going back, because the new undergrads that are doing their field school and stuff like look at me as if because I'm friends with all the professors and like the PhDs, look at me that way, where in my mind I'm like, I just have a master's, I'm not a professor or PhD. But
right,
you and I, and like I guess me in this sense, I teach more people than my professors do. And like you teach millions of people, so it is weird to like stop and think like, oh, I do have to be responsible with what I say. And then like it's where I was trying to go with this is like, it's a profession now, and it was hard for me to accept that, and I still don't know how to go about it, because when I talk to them, like they all went to school, they were associate professor and then, you know, got tenure, and then there's no classes or school or degree in this. Maybe there is now, but
yeah.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I definitely, I feel like I don't really know where my place is, I guess. I get a lot of comments saying you should be a teacher, and I'm like, well, I was, and I quit that because I wasn't making enough money to live. And now I'm teaching a lot of people. Like I am still a teacher in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's weird because like where's my place in like academia, I guess? Where's my place in like the entire field or whatever? I went to this really cool movie premiere for this this documentary called Why Dinosaurs. And it was a couple weeks ago, this documentary made by this father and son, and the son wants to become a paleontologist. So he goes all around the world and talks to different paleontologists. And so everyone at this movie premiere was like, oh, like a world known paleontologist. And I was like, I don't know, like, I'm sure I've read so many papers by these people, but I just don't know what they look like.
Right.
I don't know where my place is. Like, I feel like I don't belong here. Like, everyone's talking to each other, like, oh my God, like fangirling over, you know, a scientist. And I'm like, I was like, damn, like, I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there in a way.
Like imposter syndrome in a way.
Yeah. Imposter syndrome and like disconnected, like really disconnected. And it made me think like, do I need to, you know, be, you know, putting myself in this space more, like learning what people look like and everything. Like, I don't know. It's a weird profession. And then, you know, on the other side of it, on the social media side of it, there's in LA thousands of people who are on social media. And I have a tough time talking with them too, because I just read papers, you know, like that's all I do for my job. I read papers and I make videos, and yeah, it's a weird spot. Science communication is a weird spot. It's so cool that it's growing in the way that it is. Yeah. It's weird to be near the beginning of it, I guess.
Yeah, it's like the Wild West right now of doing this stuff, because you and I can say anything we want, and there's no, you know, need for citations or like requirement for them. And that's when like people pop up. Like I know Zeke Darwin, like he obviously does like agency. That guy's great.
He's unreal.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't beat him. But he's so good at it. But like I know he's doing a good job. The Aslan Pirani guy, I forget. I'm not sure how you say his name.
Aslan Pahari, I think.
Yeah. We chat sometimes. Like, hello, my friend.
Yeah.
He like clearly is so knowledgeable, and but there's no need for him to put citations either. And then other people pop up, and it's something about, you know, Trump or Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I'm like, oh, like what is this right? And then makes me think the science too. Like anyone can just say anything. But I know people like him, you, me, Zeke Darwin, like we try. So I just kind of go on faith with that. But I feel not dirty. It's just like, can we talk about going to the conference there? Like I'm there at a conference. Sometimes I'm presenting a paper, but when I'm there and I'm not presenting a paper, but everyone recognizes me, especially in like just my small field, it's weird. Cause like I didn't put in the work. I didn't do a dissertation and go through therapy for all that, you know, and everyone else has to do. But I'm the face of like, sounds so weird to say, but like not dog domestication, but like I'm someone they call me if they have a question, and then I pass them on to another person who does the research. But yeah, it's tough to deal with. So it's good to know you do too, I guess. But
it's always such a relief to talk to someone else who feels the same way. Because I mean, it feels like, you know, we're kind of going into it blind. Like, and the citation thing, I mean, that is, I have a tough time with that, because it's like, I put in any space that I can, like, you know, whether it's a pinned video or like my landing page on YouTube, like, here are my credentials. But you know, anyone can really say anything that they want if they have a large enough platform, and all the people who watch it will believe it. Because how many people are fact checking? It's kind of, I don't know. I think like there has to be some sort of way, like maybe a new app or something that will like fact check everything. I don't know how that would work, but I just feel like with, you know, the direction social media is moving in, the fact that most of, you know, younger generations are getting the majority of their information from people on social media. It's necessary. And I think like it's necessary for it's going to be necessary for all of us to change the way that we're making videos. I don't put any of my sources in the description on YouTube, right? I could, and I should. It just, I don't know. I don't know why I don't do it.
Yeah, I even said in the video, I'll put them in the description, just forgot. But
yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's like if someone does call you out, you can put the, in a comment, like what the citations were.
Right.
But yeah, it's just odd. But I think you said the company you're like with is like for lifestyle people, or
yeah,
forget what that's called.
Beauty, lifestyle. They're called Viral Nation. They represent all different types of creators, but mostly, like lifestyle beauty.
Okay. Because people like that, I know, like a lot of internet, I guess, influencers or internet personalities, like get hired or bought by those people, or like some people on YouTube get Curiosity Stream. But I think with science communicators in general, like someone like Zeke is like, especially because he is a teacher right now, universities in probably 5 years, or maybe less, will probably hire people like us to do what we're doing, but just get paid through the university because that makes them look good. And that's a weird thought to me, but the more people I talk to, like education's kind of going into like an internet space. And a professor asked me how would I feel about basically doing a video of his textbook rather than writing another textbook.
Whoa.
And yeah, and he was like, just asked me on top of my bus roof one day, we were drinking beers looking at the sunset, and he was like, how would you feel about taking my textbook? And I was like, oh, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But like if a textbook company, like I guess Scholastic or Penguin, I don't know who does textbooks right now, but University of Harvard Press or something, paid me, gave me all the equipment or money to do it, and I could hire a team and make, Archaeology 101 a full textbook online. I don't see that being any far stretch of not me specifically, but just in general for a topic.
Right.
And I wonder if that's even happening, but I don't know. How you feel about that?
I have a feeling that that's happening, especially with like, there's been controversy with like that. Wasn't there that online school that Florida was, using that had all of that like religious stuff in it?
Sounds like Florida.
Yeah. And like it was just riddled with misinformation and stuff. And people were complaining, like, how are you going to use this to teach kids in schools? But yeah, I have a feeling that it's already happening. And I mean, I've heard of channels who are like getting paid by like some sort of government agency to make their videos, which is interesting. It's not me. I will say that. Like that's crazy. But I think it is moving in that direction, and it's weird to like hear of that stuff happening and then also hear of people still saying like, okay, but what's your plan after this? Like, because media.
Yeah, like weird. What do you want to be when you grow up? Still,
yeah.
We'll ask that. I don't know. It's Wild West is the only way I can describe it. It just the not privatization. That sounds weird, but just the independent. Like everyone's like, I'm an independent journalist or whatever. I'm an independent science communicator, I guess is what we would call ourselves. But
yeah,
you'll be like, that's gonna shift towards that, and then I've been asked to like teach classes and stuff. Like,
that's sick.
Do you teach a dog domestication class? And I never thought about it, but I could charge people like $250 for meet 4 times a month to, just discuss articles like I did in class as a professor. But I feel so dirty.
Right.
I didn't go through all that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I it's just imposter syndrome. It's just because you're doing it on your own and not in the like standardized way it was meant to be done in. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, like when I started social media stuff, I was really only doing it to, kind of build up my resume. I was thinking, oh, I can make educational videos and then use it to get a job in a museum or something.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
And then you realize, wait, I could just keep doing this by myself and not having a boss, and it's great.
Yeah,
that changed
in years, like within a matter of like since COVID, actually. That
Yeah.
was what I thought was the end goal. And then it's just like, oh, I can do whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many opportunities, and like I will say that I don't think that I would be able to handle like everything happening if I didn't have a management team. Like
Mm,
I don't know half of what they're talking about. I just know like
right.
they have my best interests at heart, and they've done whatever they're doing before. And I have a lawyer as well, so I'm not just like going into
Smart.
it blind. But it's weird, like especially in the YouTube space, like all of the different companies that exist to essentially like somehow make money from like your channel. Like there are so many different ways, like so many different companies that I didn't even know could possibly exist. Like, you know, ones that go into like optimize a couple of your videos that you made a year ago or whatever. It's just like it's just a whole different ball game, I guess. And learning all of that is tough, and like combining the two fields of, you know, okay, I'm doing my research over here. Like you guys can
Yeah.
do whatever you want over there. I don't really want to like worry about it.
Yeah. That must be nice though. Like they handle all that, and then like is it kind of like having an agent, I guess?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
okay.
Do you have management?
No, it's something I think about every morning. I should probably look into, because I have so many ideas for videos, and then I'm like, well, I could do this as a lecture, but then I could also
Mm.
just do it as a YouTube. Maybe I'll just make it a TikTok, and then it's 4 o'clock, and then I like don't get anything done. But I just need someone to like be like, all right, today you're doing 3 TikToks, and then tomorrow you do your YouTube or something. I don't know how it works for you, but uh, I miss having a boss, I guess, even though I was the
Yeah.
boss, but I had like a manager at the top. But
Yeah.
I don't know. So do you like that?
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much handle like my schedule by myself. My management mostly just exists to like get sponsors for videos or,
Yeah.
you know, like take care of the YouTube side of stuff. And it's just so nice to like just feel like you have people supporting you. Like, um, I mean, yeah, I didn't have management up until like a year ago, and
Okay.
it just changed everything to like be able to pass off, you know, the emails to people.
That'd be so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you've been thinking about it, you should definitely like keep looking into it. Especially like there are different companies I know that like specialize in science communicators or just like experts in different fields and whatever. It's
Really?
different. Yeah.
See, I know nothing about that. I figured they just had to reach out to you or something. But
No, I mean, it's like you can like get referred by like a friend or me. I went to like different agencies and I essentially sent them like a job application. It felt like I,
okay.
you know,
Yeah.
sent them all of my numbers and everything and what I was looking for, like what I wanted managers, like a management company to take care of for me. And that ended up working out. I just looked up like top 10 best agencies and, you know, just emailed all of them. And then,
Oh,
yeah, waited to see what happens.
see, that's proactive. I never thought about that. That's like another thing. My parents and like my ex were like, "What? Like, why don't you just reach out?" And I was like, "I don't know. I feel like that's rude." I just never did.
Dude,
But
a lot of them have like an application thing that you can fill out. Like they
okay,
want to hear from you. Yeah.
I have been sleeping on that, so I'll do that. I just take little like editing gigs or like I'll write, because I like staying in archaeology. So this year I worked on a like pamphlet for a historic site for a company I used to work for, and then that was fun. It was all about slavery, which was not fun, but
Mm.
um, yeah, it was like a historic plantation, super fascinating. But other companies, like I'll go do field work and stuff, but I probably should prioritize like make it what I'm doing an actual job, not just that yeah. So I'm glad you found that, and thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do that. Let me segue from that though into wait. I had a segue in my head and it just disappeared. Right. So you are, I don't know how to, we'll just go from here.
Yeah.
So you work for like an agency or whatever, or a management firm, right? Is that what you call it? Or a talent firm?
Yeah, like a talent agency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you originally went to school? You have your undergrad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you go to grad school for a master's at all, or
No, I graduated in 2020. So then,
Oh, right. Okay.
yeah. So then from there, I just started making TikToks because of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fair enough. Because it's then how would I phrase this? Everyone's like, "What are you going to do with an anthro degree? What are you going to do with a zoology degree, or whatever degree, oceanography?" And then now, like, this is a completely viable option, and like I'm
Yeah.
scraping, but like I guess I'm not scraping, but it's like non-traditional. Like I'm not salaried. Everything comes from me.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know. It's just like your own business essentially, but it's cool that this is a new avenue for people.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I'm gonna go with that was like, so what was your original intention? Like when you went to school for zoology?
I wanted to work with big cats. And
Right.
yeah, we talked about this on the last podcast, but I went into my zoology degree. I had volunteered in South Africa at a big cat sanctuary for my senior project in high school, which I just wanted to do for fun,
Mhm.
Got a job to pay for it the summer before my senior year. And I was like, fuck it. I want to go hang out with lions.
Yeah.
But I ended up really liking it a lot more than I expected. And so I went into zoology with like very, very little background information on any animals at all. Like I was practically a blank slate going into those classes. And so I was like, what do you mean coral is an animal? Like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't know anything. And I almost think that benefited me in a way, like to have the job that I have now of like science communication. Is like, I didn't know anything and I learned all of it all at once. And it was just like my brain just fucking exploded with all
Like
this
the
new
Oppenheimer
information.
meme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I just like learning about evolution. Like, what do you mean we know what animals existed 500 million years ago? Like, that's just so fucking cool. And like, I went from, my first year in my zoology undergrad thinking like, I do not give a fuck about any information that doesn't apply to big cats. And then within months, I was like, wait, wait, like let me like slow down and actually like absorb this. And so my plan, I interned at Cheetah Conservation Fund when I was in college, and my plan was to apply to work there when I graduated and go back to Namibia or to their site in Somaliland in Northern Africa. And I just couldn't because of COVID. So then I was like, fuck it. Might as well like start making TikToks with all this information I learned.
Yeah.
And it just blossomed from there, I guess. And I'm still trying to figure out a way to, I'm not still trying to figure it out. Like my next goal is to use my platform to start going to different sanctuaries and like doing like day in the life stuff. Like this is what it's like to, work here. And just highlight some really amazing conservation groups or rescue organizations, like people who are literally rescuing hyenas stuck in a trap, rehabilitating them and then getting to see them released back into the wild. Like I think that would make for some really eye-opening content. So
Kind of like a host on a TV show, and you go to the different sanctuaries and interview people and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. I really want to, because I mean, the direction that my content ended up going in was like, I started on TikTok with 30-second videos of like, here's an overview of reproductive selection. Nobody watched nobody watched that.
Yeah.
Like nobody gave a fuck. And then I made a video about the dinosaur mass extinction, got 2 million views. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I made a video about, weird insect, got however many views. I was like, got it. Okay. So people like weird shit and prehistoric shit. And it just kind of went in that direction. But I want to pull it back. Like, I love the content that I'm doing now. I am so passionate about it, but I do want to find ways to implement conservation more. Going to these places and not just saying like this animal's endangered, but also providing like this animal's endangered and this is the organization doing something about it.
Yeah.
Because that is kind of missing, I think, from, typical nature documentaries and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And like that space, I don't think has been, or at least the person who's doing that isn't on my feed every day,
Right.
So yeah, that would be a noble way to go. What would be an example of that? Like, not that like pitch me an episode kind of thing, but like what's kind of like first on your mind?
So Cheetah Conservation Fund for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I like interning there in college changed, like that was really the turning point for me, realizing my like passion and interest was so narrow-minded, I guess. And when I went there and I saw all these animals, like these big animals, like antelope species that I had never heard of that were fucking towering over me, that was like, I don't even know what this is called. Like, that's crazy that these animals exist and I don't know what they are. Like, that's nuts. Like,
yeah,
I need to, I need to open my mind a bit. It changed
the Blue
everything.
Heron story, right?
The Blue Heron. Okay, the Blue Heron story was that was earlier on, and okay. I can retell that story. But Cheetah Conservation Fund, there's a really big piece of my heart that still lives there, and so my idea would be to talk about the reasons why cheetahs are going extinct. Go to Cheetah Conservation Fund. They have a department like for each, problem that cheetahs face that's working on a solution for that specific problem. And maybe like staying there for a couple weeks saying, like, here's what it looks like to prep the meat for cheetahs. Like, let's go feed them now. Or, like we're going to go feed the goats over here, whatever. Just like, it's like day in the life type of stuff, kind of like almost vlog style, but then also pulling it back into this is why they're doing this. You should support them, like volunteer, or if you can't volunteer, like donate or something. Yeah. Just give each of these sanctuaries a platform, because there are so many sanctuaries that just don't get the money that they need because they just don't have the marketing budget.
That's good though, because then, someone like you could really help that. I imagine, like all over Africa. So you were in Namibia, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Like all over Africa, I'm imagining there's tons of those, and in North America too. There's like wolves and big cats here and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, and we'll talk about animals when we get back. Welcome back. This episode is sponsored by water. Water is dihydrous monoxide. So it's called.
Yep.
I think something like that. How do you feel about water?
Water is wet.
Water is wet, and it gets everywhere.
Fire is hot and water is wet.
There you go. That is the name of the episode. No, but I don't remember what episode you were on A Life in Ruins. But when we were on there, we talked about the blue heron story and the big cat story. I'd love to hear those again. But before I get into it, we had said on the episode, like, you got to feed the blue heron. There's like a phrase now.
Oh yeah. And
doing
like something that you really don't want to do.
Yeah. And like sometimes when we would get together to like plan an episode, we were like, I gotta feed the fucking blue heron.
I love that you guys use that. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we loved talking to you. It was fun. And then Carlton said like a month later, or so maybe it was a little later, that he saw you like on a Hulu commercial, and we were like, oh, we got her.
Yep.
Is that what your TikTok commercial is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw it, but what was it? You just
it was Yeah, they were doing a marketing campaign for hashtag learn on TikTok, I think, or TikTok taught me. So they just got some educator TikTokers to do a couple seconds of like, my line was flamingos are born gray, not pink. And in the commercial, somebody was watching the TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool.
Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the whole SAG adjacent thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought when I signed up for it that it was like a commercial that was going to be on TikTok and maybe YouTube. And I get there and it is a full scale LA production. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, I was not prepared for this. And they had people
With,
from
like,
TikTok there.
Key grips and a boom guy and everything. And yeah.
So many vans and like vehicles and fucking trailers and shit.
Wow.
And 2 different locations. So then like they took me from one location to the filming location in one of those big Sprinter vans. And then they had one person walk in front of me and one behind me because I was like the TikTok talent. It's like,
yeah.
I was shaking. And
yeah.
like all of the lines that I did, I was just, there were 50 people watching me doing what I honestly could have done at home. Like, you know, like flamingos are born gray, not pink. Yeah, it was the most nerve-wracking thing that I had done. And it was cool. Good experience under my belt.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, the blue heron.
Yes.
Do you want me to tell the story?
Yeah, why don't you just like tell it as you would?
All right. My
story time.
Story time. So when I first got to Oregon State, I wanted to get some volunteer experience that had to do with rescuing wildlife. And the only place nearby was this place called Chintimony Wildlife Sanctuary or Wildlife Rescue. And they mostly had birds. And I had no experience with birds. This was very early on in my like, you know, I only really care about big cats phase. So I was like, whatever, like I'll do something with birds. Didn't like it from the start. I felt like I was dealing with animals that existed in a 3D space and I had, you know, like I was in a 2D space and so they had a leg up. So when I went into the enclosures with them, I didn't feel safe, which was just ridiculous. I was ignorant, whatever. And there was one time they told me, you know, they asked me if I could go feed the heron. Didn't know anything about birds. I assumed that it was going to be about the size of a crow based on the crows that I had mostly been working with so far. So I was like, sure. They were like, all right, the food is in the fridge. It's on the bottom. It's the bowl of fish. Just go put it in. And so I went into the fridge and it is not a bowl of fish. It is a tub of fish. And I picked up tub, went over to the room that the heron was in, not the little like thing, but a big room. And there was a sign on the door that said, put goggles on before you go into the room. I was like, why the fuck do I need to put goggles on? There are goggles hanging there. And I didn't know what to expect. I had no image of what this bird could possibly look like in my head. So I had the goggles on and I had this big tub of fish and I opened the door and this massive bird was just perched up on this beam that was already 4 feet high.
Damn.
And I just, it was kind of like, it was honestly like a movie moment where it was like, you could see the profile of the bird. And then when the door opened, it went, and I was like, fuck. Like
in their creepy bird way.
Yeah, in their creepy bird way, already like 7 feet high in the air compared to me. And so I threw the bowl of fish in, didn't even step foot in the room, and I left. And then I learned what a great blue heron was. So,
and it was just like grunt work is like kind of why they made you do it, or it just had to be done.
Yeah, the bird had to be fed, and I guess they decided it was my turn to do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's you got to feed the blue heron.
Yeah.
Thing. The other story you had too was you were at the big cat sanctuary, and it was a cat. breathed on you, right? What's the thing?
Yeah, it was this white lion named Gino, and
Right.
it
Chino.
was yeah, during the winter, and he had neurological issues, so he would get caught circling, and it would be really hard to get him out of it. And obviously, it's a fucking lion, so you can't like go over there and tap him on the shoulder or anything.
Yeah.
I never had any contact with the animals. There was always a fence in between us, and we had to do the final checks of the night. It was around 9 o'clock at night, dead of winter in Minnesota. So you just couldn't see anything. It was completely pitch black. And we had like flashlights to check everything out. And we heard, like, we could hear that Gino was circling in his enclosure. And so I didn't have a flashlight up because we were trying to get him inside because it was so cold. And so I was just going, Gino, Gino, like, you know, like trying to get his attention to get out of it. And it went quiet. And then all of a sudden, like I could feel his breath on my face because I was so close to the fence. And then he was right there, you know, with probably less than a foot of space in between my face and his mouth. And he was just roaring because that was just another thing he did with his circling, was just like constantly roaring, and not being able to see him and feeling his breath on my face and knowing how close he was to me was just like, my adrenaline it's never been that high before. Like that was that was gnarly. And it was so cool. And it reminded me of like why I was doing what I did, because like to feel the power of a lion that close to you, and luckily like feeling safe, like knowing like nothing's going to happen to me, but also knowing that if the fence wasn't there, I probably wouldn't be alive anymore, is like, it was just a really cool feeling. Yeah. But you know, I have a story that I didn't tell on the last podcast that has to do with dogs. That might interest
yeah, we could totally get into that, and it would interest me.
Okay. When I worked at a place in Southern Africa with African wild dogs.
Okay. Canis, no, Lycone pictus is the species name.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, that was just my nerd.
No.
You good to
I didn't know anything about wild dogs before I worked with them. And
they're intense.
They're really intense. And everything was like, it was so like, everything was so locked down. Like I couldn't say where I was or anything, because if people found out, you know, somehow on social media that like these African wild dogs are being rehabilitated at this place, you know, people might come and kill them, because wild dogs in Southern Africa are just like notoriously, like they're just notorious for, you know, killing livestock and essentially like ruining someone's livelihood overnight. And so when I worked with them, like it was so bizarre. Like every time we went to feed them, like they're so cute, you know, they have those big round ears and everything, and they're so beautiful. But every time we went to go feed them, it was like, they just like, the frenzy that they got into was like, the most wild thing I've ever seen. And they make these like squeaking noises, and it just doesn't sound real. And then like we would throw in a carcass for the whole group to split up, and it would be torn apart in seconds, like, and just running everywhere. And it was just like, it was so surreal. Like
piranhas.
yeah. Like piranhas of Africa. Yeah. And there was one time that we were driving around the perimeter of the fence. We would check it every time we went to go check on them to make sure that they hadn't like chewed through it or something. And we were pulling up to this corner. So we slowed down to go around the corner. And this guinea fowl, which is like a bird probably like this big, it's like a pretty chunky bird. It tried to fly away, seeing the wild dogs running towards it, and got caught in the fence. And so when that happened, we just came to a stop. And like me and my supervisor, it was just silence because we knew what we were about to witness. And one of the dogs grabs the bird and the bird was like looking around, you know, like trying to fly away and everything. And the dog just like went back, sat down somewhere. Bird was on the floor looking around, and one bite, split in half. Bird was dead. Like nothing. Like
From one dog?
One dog.
Jeez.
One dog ripped it in half. Like I I had never seen anything like that before, and it was like just very like, and then going to like check on them and like animals, like nature is fucking wild, right? And seeing it with your own eyes like that, to see how unforgiving it is, I guess, is just crazy. There was one time the enclosure was like split up in all of these different sections. And so they would be like in one specific section and then not have access to another. And there was one day we went to go check on them, and one of them got into a section that they did not have access to. And so we were like, did they figure out how to jump over the fence? Like, it's like, 15 feet, 20 feet high. Did they figure out how to jump over it? No, they found a weak spot in the fence and like
raptors at Jurassic Park.
Yeah, dude. And they ripped it open and made a hole in it and got into that section. And it was like, what's stopping them from doing that to the outside of the fence? You know? It was gnarly. I loved working with them, but out of all of the carnivores I've worked with at this point, like cougars, tigers, lions, wild dogs, cheetahs, I would much rather be stuck with tigers than with wild dogs.
In terms of safety, or in terms of
like in an enclosure with them? I'd rather take my chance with a tiger than wild dogs for sure.
Wow. Yeah. How big are they in person? Like I've obviously seen pictures of them, but
they're teeny. They're like
coyote kind of size.
Yeah, like coyote sized. Yeah, maybe a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger than that. And really, really skinny. Like their legs are super skinny, and yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, the ones that I was working with were younger, so they get bigger than that. But yeah, they're small. They're smaller than cheetahs, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you would rather take your chances with like a tiger than with the wild dogs?
Yeah.
Because of their social way of taking things apart, or just that they're powerful?
Yeah, just like, I mean, at least tigers are polite and will like suffocate their prey before they kill it. Wild dogs won't do that.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know if you follow Nature is Metal on Instagram or not. Okay. It's just like a morbid curiosity every day when it pops up. But
yeah,
whenever it's a wild dog, I like take a breath and be like, this is going to be bad. Because and there's just one, like it ate the baby out of a gazelle, and I was like, well, this is Tuesday morning. I just like scroll through, and now there's Nature is Not Metal, which is a good page. So
I have to check that one out.
Or Nature is that one. It's Nature is Not Metal. It's just like nice cute puppy pictures.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but literally the day I found it, actually it was after I'd followed him, but he's a cool dude. The Nature's Metal was there, and it was like a zebra getting eaten alive by lions, and it was like, its last moments, and I was like, Jesus. And I scrolled down, and the next one was like a baby zebra just like kind of waddling around, and I was like, thank God. It was a nice like eye cleanse.
Yeah. It's like watching SpongeBob after you watch a horror movie.
It's a good way to put it. Do you think people are into that stuff because it's like a morbid curiosity, or is it just like as a zoologist, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I do. It must be morbid curiosity, right? Like it's horrible to watch, but that page has how many followers? I think it's also like, I don't know, like that's what nature is. And a lot of people know that. And I think want to see it.
That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, especially with the wild dogs, or watching hyenas do their thing, or like when they gang up on a lion, or the lions gang up on the hyenas. Like, it's just so cool to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then to me, especially with hyenas or lions or wolves, when they do show wolves, or I guess wild dogs as a comparison, like I just kind of think about it but with snow everywhere and in like
Mm-hmm.
France.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just like, again, just Tuesday, like what you, you would see outside. And oh, that reminds me, the the most commented thing on my lecture on YouTube is the fact that I said, uh, you could see big cats in Africa like carry something up a tree, and then I was like, but imagine that in Europe 20,000 years ago, and you would just see, I think I said in the lecture, like a cheetah carrying something up the tree. And then I put over top of that footage, but it was a leopard carrying something up a tree. And I
Mm-hmm.
just said cheetah because it was a big cat in my head. And
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like, this asshole doesn't even know what the difference between a cheetah and a leopard is. And people are like, all of your credibility is gone. I stopped watching. And it's like so funny because some people are like, hey, man, that was a cheetah, just or like a leopard, just so you know. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's not my expertise. My bad. I was just like, kind of making a joke.
Right.
But the amount of people who like will call you out for that stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's like casual conversation can't exist. And it's like you're trying to almost have that in that format of just like, yeah, I'm just like throwing out an example really quick. When in real life, that would just be like, oh, somebody would be like, oh, you mean a cheetah? You'd be like, oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
yeah. I had an experience like that. I made this video about worms, and I was, talking about like worms are everywhere. There's so many different kinds of worms, and my editor threw in a really cute video of an inchworm that was like a second long. And in my head, I was like, that's not technically a worm, like, but whatever. It's an inchworm, like it's a caterpillar, but it's called an inchworm, and it's a cute video up for 1 second.
Sure.
The video is like 10 minutes long too, and posted it, and this guy commented just so much like, you're not a real zoologist, like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like if that had happened, like I'm a teacher, and like he figured out what school I went to. He was like, I'm going to tell all of my students to never go to Oregon State University because they're clearly like throwing out trash from their It's like, dude, like look at yourself for a second. It's an inchworm, like what's up? And I did a collaboration with my friend Mamadou, his channel Casual Geographic, and I was reading through the comments, and the guy was there again. He was like, how could you make a video with Lindsay? She doesn't even know what an inchworm is. She doesn't even know that an inchworm is an arthropod. It's like, what? Take a Xanax, dude. Like, chill out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is, dude. And like, it's kind of like you said, people just want to show other people that they know something or they're smarter, but that person clearly is like probably envious of your position and just wanted to take you down with that over an inchworm.
Over an inchworm, yeah. Which wasn't even the point of the video, it's funny. Like people just want to feel good for a little bit, and it sucks that sometimes you have to be on the receiving end of that.
It's just, kind of something. If anyone's listening that wants to do this for a living, like it's going to happen.
It's going to happen, and it's going to take some time to get used to, and you got to figure out a way to like not look at your comments very much.
Yeah, though I do sometimes.
Yeah, I do too.
Just for, well, I guess that's something too. Like my advice would be, don't judge your whole self-worth off of the comments you get.
Yeah.
But I do, another reason I envied or not envy, but like, I'm going to do in a way, I respect the way you put out content. Is like, I know it's you because your head's coming in and you're like, get me a minute. Like whatever. I say that a lot. You make it like a consistent style and you stick to that. And it must, in my mind, like make it easy to pop in and just do the same thing. I kind of like to not do that. And I know that's the way to get bigger, is just to like stick to a format because people know it's me. Because if it's me doing comedy and then it's me making stone tools and then it's something about dogs, they don't know it's the same page, which is my issue. So that'd be advice to people. But yeah, I like to make like a different style or different, because it's art to me, like making a different type of video. And then I'll watch or read the comments about it. And, if it doesn't do well in the comments, they're just weird and like kind of small, great, not a great style.
Right.
But then sometimes, like especially on Instagram, like my community on Instagram is really tight. I love them. It's been so nice for the last like 3-5 years now. They'll
Nice.
be like, this is like, keep this, like, this is great. Like, this is the best
Mhm.
video you've made. And those things are like what keep me going.
Yeah.
And like days when I'm like, I don't want to work on this. And then I'll like read the comment. I'm like, okay, or I'll remember the comment. But then sometimes it's just completely destroys your self-worth for the day, or like
Mhm.
not for the day, but like just ruins your morning,
Mhm.
when you get
Mhm.
something bad. So
No,
I imagine you
totally.
get tons.
Yeah, it comes in waves. When a video is doing really well, comes more frequently. Because it's being showed, like new people are seeing it, I guess. So I've made a rule with myself on YouTube specifically, but I guess everything. I First day that I post a YouTube video, I read every single comment that's posted within 24 hours because they're just like they're so positive. And I also do it to make sure that like there weren't any mistakes because I feel like, within that time
Yeah.
frame somebody would point it out. Um after like after like 3 days of the video being uploaded, I decide I'm not going to look at the comments anymore because that's when I assume new people would come in who would just have something unproductive to say.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, it definitely comes in waves. Um, and it's weird because like for a long time, and I think this is just like a natural human thing. I'm sure you experience this as well. The negative comments stay in your brain a lot longer than the positive ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just natural, like humans trying to like, figure out their place and like correct themselves and whatever. But,
Yeah.
um, like it was tough for a while because I felt like I just needed to separate myself from them entirely. And it almost felt like the more I wasn't caring about what the negative comments said, that also applied to the positive comments. And I didn't like that that was happening. Like I want to like feel good about, the positive things that people have to say.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to like become numb, I guess. It's kind of like a corny way to say it, but
No, it makes sense.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just weird, especially like I think there are a lot of people who are like they have the mindset that works really well for like I don't care what anybody thinks of me. Like I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. I'm not like that at all.
I say I am, and then I'll read a comment one morning and I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But it also like I try to like cut myself some slack because humans were just never meant for this amount of feedback coming in about themselves. So
yeah.
it is what it is, I guess.
No, totally. And like this much sociality, this much just the interacting with that many people. And somebody
Hmm.
even pointed out to me on another podcast I did, like, you see more potential mates or partners in 10 minutes on the internet than your like great grandfather saw in like his entire lifetime.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, and it was like something about, I think we were talking about like dating and relationships and stuff, but it's wild. Like the human mind isn't like meant for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's good we can be picky now with partners, but like, and you're not just like some person in the 50s stuck with the dude in your town that sucks and drinks all the time. But like,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it just, that kind of blew my mind. And I was like, man,
Yeah.
total segue. But
No, well, similarly and kind of separately, but also kind of similarly, a lot, like so much of internet traffic is just bots. Like so many comments are just bots
especially
that,
right now. Yeah.
especially right now. And like, I try to remind myself of that too. Like most of the negative comments are coming from pages that have like 2 followers
Mm,
or 0 followers and 2 following. It's like that person likely doesn't exist. Like,
yeah.
so just like let it be kind of thing.
Or they made the account to comment and followed their other page or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a ton of bots. And it depends on what video I post, but like if it's something political or like someone says I have an agenda, like God forbid I say like humans in the past were egalitarian, like I piss off. Like it's just funny. Like one day I'll get called a right wing extremist, and then the next day like I'm told that like the complete opposite. Like one, make your mind up, but then two, it just, what was the word? I think I talked about wolves for sure. Like they alloparent, but they also have same-sex pair bonding, and that's like a human thing too, obviously. And somebody said like, "Oh, great, like the gay agenda" or something like that, and that was like early on. And it's like, okay, it's just a straight up fact, like, which is interesting. It's an interesting fact. Like I don't know.
No, I hate how like I don't know. Science just I don't like that people try to politicize science. Drives me nuts.
A lot of that in archaeology. And we're back. This episode is also sponsored by Athletic. I'm just kidding. It's sponsored by greens. Just molars. You need them to eat greens. I don't know how you feel about greens.
I'm on a crispy air fryer spinach thing right now. So
are you spinach chips?
Yeah, spinach chips with some salt and garlic. That's my shit right now. So I like them. I like greens.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lindsay Nikole knows how to party. That sounds like a good time. But anyway, what are we talking about? Right.
Archaeology.
Politicization. I don't want to go too in the weeds with it, but the overhunting thing, in like, Paleo Indians and just humans hunting in general, there's just no doubt we ate meat, and like there's wolves eat meat, or like someone will tell me like about dogs don't have to eat meat or something like that. Like they're in carnivora, number one, right? Two, they are omnivores, but like we understand dogs because of our social, or understand wolves because of our social, similarities, but also because we were both hunting big game in the Siberian tundra. So like did that, but it just, a point I wanted to get at was, and I did this the other day when I posted that Hasbullah meme, but like people think overhunting in the past, in the Paleolithic, was humans hunted down every single last mammoth, which is just not the case.
Right.
But it takes 22 months to gestate a mammoth, I think, or 16 months, longer than a year. So like if you're picking them off and, there's no male elephant in the area, which they're probably hunting the bulls, then, the population is going to dwindle pretty quick. And people will always comment and say like, well, the humans didn't do it, or it was climate change, or yada, yada, which it probably was a combination of all of it. But it's just interesting to see how your like modern thoughts on things influence, scientific talk. That one always causes it. And then there's the whole Graham Hancock aspect, but other ones too. An interesting one too is that in archaeology in North America, we have NAGPRA, that's what it's called, which is North American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. And essentially, if you come across an indigenous burial or anything remotely related to a grave, you got to call the tribes that they come check it out, and they can tell you to completely halt all excavation, or you can dig it out, repatriate it, or take it to a lab sometimes. But a question with that too, and especially with what I do, is if dogs are so linked to humanity and we also bury dogs, when we come across a dog burial in North America that is ornately buried just like a person, do we have to then apply that law to the dog? And hasn't gone to court. I don't think it's a thing, but someone brought that up at a meeting one time, and I was like, that is a fascinating thought.
That is a really good point. I'm surprised that it's not already applied the same way.
Yeah. I posted pictures of two puppies that were buried in California. I forget what island it was. It was two little puppies buried next to each other. It's like super cute looking, and it's just fascinating. But I got several people that were like, hey, like this is like uncompliant with NAGPRA. You should take it down. But it just like, I didn't end up posting it because I felt weird. But it's another thing too, that I want to teach about this stuff, but if I can't show the picture, it's hard to teach about it.
Right.
But at the same time, it brings up that philosophical, like, dogs are people in a sense, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
they've been treated like people for generations. Yeah.
yeah. And another cool thing too, and I'll stop nerding out about that, but the some sites, like the oldest dog in America is the Coster dog. It's 10,000 years old in Illinois. You can, because we can't examine human skeletal remains from that time period, you can examine the dogs. And they did stabilized isotope analysis on them. And you can see that they were eating a lot of fish. They were eating some different kinds of meat as well. But since dogs don't fish, you can see that the humans were clearly feeding the dogs fish for some reason. So
Whoa.
yeah, so you can get
Wait,
a glimpse at human diet. Yeah.
that's crazy. I also didn't know that you can't analyze human skeletons from that time.
No, the indigenous get. I would agree with them that probably shouldn't mess with
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Right.
so
There's
it's tough.
dude, there's I mean, I've never been on a dig or to any sites like that or anything, and there's so much that I don't know about like how it works and everything, and that is on my bucket list. I want to go to a dig site and just see like kind of just I don't know, just hang out for a week and
Yeah,
hear the whole process and everything that goes into it. It's so fascinating. Like I don't know, I there's just so much that you have to go out into the field to learn. And yeah, that just sounds so cool. You do that like all summer, right?
last year I did for sure.
That's so
Um,
cool.
it if you're free next summer, let me know. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, there's a cool site we've been at, but that's the fun thing now too. Is I'm not like a student. I'm not hired as like a scientist on the team, but they're just like, it's just David's here. Like I have my camera and I'm working on a video right now about a mammoth site we found, but they found
Damn.
it in the 80s, but digging it out. Yeah, dude, it's like when I was back there filming it, and well, one, do you use Storyblocks? You know what Storyblocks is?
Mm-mm.
It's like a stock footage website for videos. And whenever I type in archaeology on there, it's some like guy with like a monocle, like brushing pottery or
Uh-huh.
something weird, or like scraping dirt off a Roman mosaic. It's not exactly what I do. So the school was like, yeah, just hang out, like dig some holes if you want, and then it's all your footage. So uh,
Damn.
I got to see like a mammoth like get pulled out of the ground, and
Holy shit.
super sick. But that's the really fun thing about a dig, dude. It's like there's so much science behind it, and like all the measurements and like how all that's done. And like when a Nat Geo crew comes through and films, they just want the story, and that's not really part of it. So I have tons of footage. It's another one of the overwhelming things about, well, what do I make a video on today? Because
Mm-hmm.
I could do the science aspect, I could do the history aspect, I could do the general anthropology aspect. Um, Hopefully, I'll get to all of it. But where I was going is I know how the science works and like what to look at and that kind of stuff. So it was really fun filming like all that and like knowing, okay, that unit's about to have some stuff come out of it. So let me put the time lapse on it. And like, lo and behold, there's like a bunch of shit coming out and
Oh, that's so cool.
super fun. And the site itself is so fascinating because the mammoth is cool, but they butchered it and it was this huge big like village where they built structures around it and were like using stone like hide tanners to like scrape the hides and everything.
Uh-huh.
And you can see the stone tool was sourced a couple kilometers away. Like it was like probably a week's walk away, 2 weeks. And
Damn. What?
yeah, just these people were just moving so fast and like found a mammoth that was probably stuck in the river, took it
Mm-hmm.
out, and then built an entire village, tanned all the hides, painted the hides because there's paint everywhere. And then that's really all we can tell. And we know like what season it was. They were eating rabbits too. But
Whoa. What
yeah,
did they make paint out of?
red ochre. So it's like ferrous oxide is what it's called, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's rust essentially that
Got
kind
it.
of comes out of the ground at certain places. And that's what they use like for the handprints all over Europe and stuff.
Got it. I've always
Yeah.
wondered about that. I don't know why I never asked.
Yeah. It's just dirt. Sometimes they use ash, but red ochre is usually pretty spiritual especially in like Aboriginal Australia. It's really spiritual. So here, for whatever reason, there was just like probably pounds of it. And the whole ground is like stained red from where it was because the water spread it everywhere. But they don't know, or we don't know why they were using it. Maybe it had some like hide preservation thing that no one's done tests on yet, but also just might have been like painting themselves and like painting their houses and stuff, and
Right.
yeah, some spiritual purpose, but so cool.
That is so cool that you can figure out that much from a site. Like, yeah, I don't know. Just hearing stuff like that reminds me why science is so cool, you know?
Right. And my thing that like I would want to like your show where you go to the different conservation places, like I want a show like, I don't know if you've seen Easy on Netflix, or Easy's like a really obscure show. Black Mirror, it's like an
Yeah.
anthology. Yeah. Not to have like weird twists and stuff like Black Mirror does, but just an episode different. There's no sequential, just an anthology.
Mm-hmm.
But it pops up and it says like 20,000 years ago, Australia. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like complete set design of that time, that language, like the right people. And they're like an Aboriginal cast, I guess what I'm saying. And someone's brother died, so there's a funeral. But then the next episode, it's like 10,000 BC, France, and
That would be
someone's
so
brother
sick.
died from getting gored by a mammoth, right? And like then the brother died, so now he can take over as like chief or whatever their structure would have been. But I just want that, but I also want it to jump to like CE 2075 and like a nuclear wasteland, and like people are also foraging, hunting, and gathering for food,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a tribal structure, and just to show people humans,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I really want. But obviously, I would center it on dogs a lot too. But
Yeah.
I have no idea how to make that happen other than Netflix gives me money to direct it, but I wouldn't know how to do that. But
Yeah. That would be so cool. I mean, like, you could do that on YouTube by just getting like big enough sponsors, right?
probably, um, and get like a film student who wants to make a movie or something, or
Mm-hmm.
just little anthologies. I'm curious when AI video making that scares me, but is
Yeah.
that easy? Like that, dude, that's a whole thing. But um, I can do a whole podcast talking about Neanderthals with a Neanderthal filter over my face, which is something I'm going to do.
Holy shit.
But it's just a weird thought that took forever before.
Yeah.
Where was I going? But yeah, just something like that. But that's right. I could probably do it on YouTube, or at least make a pilot about it.
Yeah, you could absolutely do that. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like just reaching out to the community and saying like, hey, I want to do this project, who has the skills or the tools to make that happen and is interested. I feel like you could find some people.
Probably. And I would just love that, because like with the languages, having a linguist reconstruct it, like in all the stone tools the right way, the music and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
be sick. But then it just show people, like even if it starts on like a site like that one, someone digs up the artifact, it could start that way maybe, and then it just like warps back to like what was going on.
Yeah, that would be super sick.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really, really cool idea.
Thanks. I like think about that a lot. Like what I would do, and then because just exploring like like what was their idea, like they probably didn't have gender the same way we did, or like
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they didn't have as strict like heterosexuality rules like most of our society had. And
Right.
then just exploring all that, or religion, just language, music, because we have no idea what people were wearing, what their like music they sang or whatever, so
Right.
just having fun with that would be sick. But
Yeah.
do you have any like movie or like I guess you have that show?
Yeah. I mean, that would mainly just be like a YouTube, like different collections of YouTube videos. I would love to turn that into a TV show. I think the conservation angle is not really one that big companies are interested in right now. They're, you know, interested in like shock factor kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what
And
yeah.
so I don't know. I mean, like I've had some ideas here and there. Um, I don't really know what direction I would want to go in. Like I want to I would love to do a TV show or a movie or something. Um, maybe like something animated. I think would be really cool. Um, I don't know, because I've kind of like I've thought about that, like a TV show. I don't know if I would want to be like in it. I would just want to
Yeah.
like play a part in it, you know, play a part in the production of it. So I don't
Do
know.
a cameo here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, there's
Yeah.
Lindsay.
Yeah. Come in as a barista or something.
Yeah. No, I think the conservation show, like, did you grow up with Steve Irwin? I don't remember how old you are, but
I did a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Early on. Yeah.
Okay. Because I had Bill Nye, Steve Irwin, and then Neil Tyson had a show later on, but not, I don't know. But I guess I kind of grew up in the golden age of that. But then you had still Discovery Channel, like all that stuff too. And it was just, to me, I was like, oh, that's a career, like talking about
Right.
science. And I don't know. Did you have any influences?
Not really. I mean, to be honest, like I didn't really get into wildlife or zoology until I was in college. Like, you know, it wasn't until I started
Right.
really, you know, I worked with big cats and then I got interested in other stuff after that. But I was in a band. I played guitar. I was mostly just like, you know,
I could see you being in a
fangirling.
band.
Yeah. I was the lead guitarist in a band.
Fuck yeah.
And I watched Freaky Friday, loved Lindsay Lohan. And that day I was like, I want to learn how to play guitar. I was 8.
Solid
and
movie.
Yeah, from Freaky Friday. Without Freaky Friday, I would have never been in a band. And so like, yeah, when I was younger, I was mostly like, just like a little metalhead. I was into like guitarists like Buckethead and, you know,
Awesome.
yeah. Yeah. I wish I had more of an interest in, you know, like, I mean, I watched Animal Planet from time to time, but I just wonder how, you know, if my interest in zoology had started earlier, if that would have changed things for me. Yeah. Because this is, I mean, it's all relatively new. I mean, I was 20 when I started my zoology degree because I transferred. And so I'm 26 now. I've only been into animals really for 6 years. So
yeah. I also transferred. Cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you kind of just started doing this because you could during COVID, right? That's what you were saying. So it wasn't like a childhood thing.
No. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, I don't know if anyone's asked you this before, and if it's a trade secret, you don't have to tell me, but what's the origin of the Beanie? Is it the guitarist in you?
No, honestly. Okay. So first off, I think it's a lesbian thing to always wear a beanie. Like,
okay.
I just always wore a beanie like in Oregon and stuff. But when I started making TikToks, I wanted to use the green screen background, and I still do, but it would cut off my forehead. Yeah, it would cut off my forehead and make my head look weird if I didn't have a beanie on. So then I just always wore a hat so that it wouldn't cut off my head. And
they're going to say the hair because it's always hard with the green screen. But.
Yeah, the hair. I typically, I mean, I don't really wear my hair down ever because I have a lot of hair. I have half of it cut off. Like I have it. I'll show you. I have like an undercut. It's like completely bald.
Yeah,
and then
awesome.
My actual hair starts like here, and I still have like, I'm Puerto Rican, so I have a lot of hair. It's like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, cool. It's a lot to manage, and so I usually just wear a hat because it's easier, or I just wear it up in like a ponytail or a bun. So yeah, I mean, it's partly my personality, I guess, the beanie, but it was also for the green screen effect.
Huh. Well, yeah, it's stuck for sure.
Stuck, yeah.
Do you speak Spanish too?
No, I
Okay.
am what they call a Puerto Rican.
A Puerto Rican. I'm familiar with that. I'm from New York.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Where in New
What's the
York are
other
you
word?
from?
Long Island.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. My
So,
family's from White Plains in the Bronx.
okay. That's where my mom was born. That's funny.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, I grew up around a lot of Puerto Ricans. New York is, or Long Island is, you're either Italian, Irish, Jewish, or Puerto Rican. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it's a big
New
thing
York
there.
is like the
But
Puerto Rican capital.
it is. It's fun too, the parade stuff. But
Yeah.
what's the word? I can't remember what it is. Oh, no sabe, I think is. I don't know if that's like a dig or not, but I've seen Gen Z use that on TikTok. It's like someone who's Hispanic but doesn't speak Spanish.
Mm.
But not that that's the thing. But where I was going with that was I did 2 of those videos in Spanish and they went wild. And everyone was like, you should make a second account in Spanish. And that like gave me a panic attack, like essentially. Because it was like I have no time for the English ones and I can't just like do all that. But
Right.
yeah, imagine if someone translated your videos into Spanish and you put them on like another platform, like you'd crush it, or any language really. But
there are people who take my videos word for word, translate them themselves, and just upload them themselves as if they're the ones who made them.
did they talk over it, or they make their own video?
They find the exact same pictures, they film themselves in front of the exact same pictures, do the sideways shit in like
Respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, cool, dude.
Yeah. I'm assuming you've been stitched, but like, I mean, millions of times you've probably been stitched, but like, some like people will stitch my videos to something and then talk over it or say I'm wrong, which is fun and that's fine. But sometimes, like, I'll get when I posted the videos about the Roman dog epitaphs that were like sad, someone stitched mine, and like as soon as it, because I get all the notification, I have them all turned off, but when I occasionally will go through them on TikTok because it's overwhelming, like I'll look at it and it was like someone stitched your video, and I'll open it, and then he was like screaming at me for not putting like a trigger warning and how sad, like he was being funny. But like when I first saw it, I was like legit like, oh my God, this guy is genuinely upset.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was a joke, but other times too, I'm like, all right, here's the day where like I'm stitched and like it goes viral that like I did something wrong or something. And it terrifies me sometimes.
I've had moments like that. One of those videos that the video that got 24 million views was about the Bajau people who like have kind of evolved for a life in the water in Indonesia, I want to say.
I remember you posting that. Yeah.
And I talked about how like, oh my God, I can't remember. It's like I blocked it out. Like their spleens are like 25% larger or something.
That's
I think.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But a lot of people stitched that. They were like, yeah, how did they figure that out? Because, you know, like scientists and Westerners go and rip them open, and you're just talking about it like it's nothing, you know, calling me a colonizer and whatever. Yeah, that one. I mean, that one I was like, yeah, I definitely should have clarified how they figured that out, was like blood tests and stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about that. Yeah, I try and not watch my stitches. I don't.
You probably have a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I have a fair amount. Yeah. But where was I going to go with that? Oh, it's funny when people like try and joke with you who like you've never seen before, but they try and joke with you because they've been watching your content for however long, right? And they kind of like feel like they're building a relationship with you, and then they joke with you, and then from your perspective, you think they're insulting you, or you know, like that happens a lot. And I mean, I generally ignore it, but I do think I think it's funny, you know, that people think that they can say these things, and then you respond and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why would you say that to me? And they're like, it's just a joke. That's how I talk with all of my friends. I joke with my brother like that. It's like, I'm not your brother, guy. Like,
And
I don't know you.
That. Yeah.
I don't know you. why are you talking to me like that? Like, people are just so funny, you know?
Yeah. Like, I'm a person too. Like, you consider
Yeah.
that. I have the final questions, and then I have like a rapid fire thing that I'm
All
gonna
right.
do with you. So I'm gonna wrap this up, but we'll be right back with the final questions here.
All
I
right.
have no idea how to do this. I'm winging it with you.
Hell yeah.
What time is it? 6:30. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I would love to like chat about stuff. Like, I'm loving this. By the way, that's what I'm trying to get
Yeah,
at.
dude.
So,
No,
it's
I
fun.
love this. This is like the easiest. I mean, I felt this way on A Life in Ruins as well. Like, you're just so easy to talk to. And yeah, it just makes it a lot more enjoyable.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I can tell you're a chill person, so it's just easy to like. I get it.
Yeah.
Not that I get you, but it's just
No,
feel safe talking. Yeah,
no, I completely agree. Yeah.
cool. That means a lot though, because that podcast was fun. We stopped doing it a little while back, but we might do it again here soon. It's just too much work.
Yeah, that's fair.
But now I'm doing this one, and then Carlton got a job. Oh yeah, we're still live, but I can cut this. Carlton got a professorship, and then he got another one. So he's just busy being a professor, and then Connor works
Nice.
full time for the state of Wyoming, like making all their archaeology maps. So it's
Damn.
just like we're all adults, and it was like a fun thing to do, and then it just
Right.
yeah, but yeah, no, we liked it, especially episodes like people with you because it was just fun. You know?
Yeah. No, that was so fun. Yeah. And that was my first podcast I had ever done. So I was
Really?
like, yeah. So I was like, oh, podcasts are so fun. Like, I want to do this all the time. And then I did a couple other ones and they were nothing like the podcast I did with you guys. It's like, wow, okay, wait, these are kind of draining, actually.
It's
Yeah.
probably good to keep in too, but yeah, it's like I did one yesterday morning that was great. The guy, it was about hunting, asked me about dogs and hunting, which I have like, mixed feelings on.
Mhm.
And, but he owns like his own nonprofit hunting thing and was to the point, quick questions. And I felt like I was talking too much. And another person had me on for like 4 hours. And it was like a great conversation with two other scientists. And like, there's that whole dance at the end of like, all right, when do I end it politely or when do they end it? Yeah. And
Right.
then other times it's just the person is like not great at interviewing. So it's just,
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah, you've come across that or something. I don't know. There's just something
Yeah.
that's like off about it. Sometimes you can't like place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had experiences where like I was interviewed by like a couple people and then they're just talking the whole time and I'm just sitting there listening to them talk. It's like, you had me on. Like, what am I doing here? You guys should just like talk on your own.
I've never had that, but that would be super awkward.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I have, but yeah, well, I'm glad it was good. Yeah, this has been fun.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm trying to think of what the sponsor is now.
Air or wind.
There you go. Okay. This episode is brought to you by air, which is just, is it oxygen?
Carbon dioxide and oxygen.
And I guess there's
isn't
some
there a little bit of nitrogen? Yeah.
Probably a lot. Whatever's floating around.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's brought to you by that. How do you feel about oxygen? Air?
I wish I was air. I feel like it would be really cool to be air.
Fair? Oh, no, that I was trying to like think of a like airbender, like
just to be like an air, like a section
molecule
of air molecules would be cool.
Teach their own. No, I was kidding. I don't know what to say to that. Yes, so we're sponsored by Air. I did this with Gaius Flavius last week, the guy who dresses up like a Roman soldier.
Yeah,
in TikTok. I don't know if you've seen him.
Yeah, I have.
I like speed ran questions about Rome, but I got 3 at the end. But these ones, they don't have to be quick. You can elaborate on them if you want. What is your book that you did? I owned one of them. It's like a coloring book.
Yeah, I did 2 coloring books. So the most recent one is a spooky specimens coloring book. Way more in depth than the first one. I mean, not really way more in depth. The first one was just like, I scribbled down some notes about each animal and kept the handwritten notes in it, which was cool. But yeah, 30 animals that are objectively heinous to the general public that I made some drawings of and wrote a little bit about. And I typed it this time, so you won't have trouble reading my handwriting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. And it's called Spooky Specimens?
Yep. Spooky Specimens coloring book.
Okay. And the first one?
I called it Sim Books Deep Sea Edition, thinking I would continue on with the Sim Books thing, but I didn't.
Like Simba?
Yeah, because that was my music name for a while, and I tried to keep up with it, but I just didn't want to do it anymore. Came up with that
Fair
when
enough.
I was 18, and very much grew out of that. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put the links in the description. Do you go by like Lindsay Nikole? Is that like your like creator name?
Yeah, Lindsay
Okay.
Nikole or Lindsay. Yeah,
Okay.
I prefer Lindsay. It's Nikole is my middle name, and it's funny when like a lot of people on YouTube refer to me as Nikole as if it's my last name.
I get called Ian all the time.
Yeah. It's weird. Is that like what is that?
Might be a cultural thing.
Yeah.
That, or I guess if people list their middle name, maybe to some people that means like they just put their first name because it is their name and they go with it. I don't know, but I get called Ian a lot, or people think my name's Davidian.
Hell
which sounds
yeah.
cool.
That's hard.
Yeah. It does go hard, but there's also the whole cult thing that happened in the 90s that with the Branch Davidians. But I was born just before that, so I wasn't named after it. But I'll bring it back. It seems cool.
Yeah. Davidian the archaeologist. That is hard.
It's like Trey the explainer or Tyler the creator. There you go.
Yeah. Boom.
Cool. Yeah, I'll do that. Favorite dog breed?
Pitbull.
Really?
Yeah. Or Dobermans.
Okay. What about them?
Pitbulls, I love how their coat feels. They're really so
soft and like
they're
firm.
Yeah, really soft. I also love how big their mouths are. It's easy for them to look like they're smiling, even though they're not technically. But I like that it looks like they're smiling. Yeah.
Pitbulls are some of the sweetest like dogs. Like whenever someone has or a pit mix, they're just always right up in your face, wanting to like be pet, and they had a goofy smile. Cool. And their head, I can't describe what they look like other than like an otter or something, or a seal.
They're like they're, you know what? They remind me of what's that fucking animal? They kind of look like a synapsid mixed with a mammal, like an early synapsid.
Synapsid, that's the thing with the sail on its back.
Yeah, Dimetrodon.
There we go.
Yeah, it kind of has the head of Dimetrodon, but with fur. They kind of just Pitbulls look like dinosaurs to me, like their skull.
Yes, it's like a Yoshi head.
Yeah,
like it is big, or like a not Glyptodon. What's the thing? Anyway, the big armadillo-looking things from the Ice Age.
Yeah, Glyptodon, right?
Is that a Glyptodon? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. There we go. Look at us.
Hell yeah.
And then Dobermans, because they're huge.
Yeah. I like the like scary looking dogs, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like the short fur. Yeah.
Okay.
Into the short fur. What's your favorite?
I love labs, just as like never met a bad lab. They're kind of dumb sometimes, but they're like just a perfect family dog. And like I loved my lab to death. But then I have a German Shepherd mix now, who is mixed with an Elkhound, and it's different than having a dog. Like a Shepherd is just it's an animal. Like or I can't describe it. It's like it's a domestic wolf to me versus like a beagle or my Athena was my chocolate lab. Like she's a dog,
right?
But I like share a space with my Shepherd because he has his own mind. He talks to me. He doesn't sleep with me. He doesn't like being in my bed. He just does his thing. Yeah, I think he might have like. I left him outside in the cold a lot when he was little, so he might have killed a few brain cells in him. I don't know, but he loved it. He wanted to go outside, so.
He kind of sounds more like a cat, like independent.
He's very catty. And And he does like the thing where if I don't look at him or talk to him, he'll be like, until I look, and then he'll like look away. It's really funny. Like he's like, I didn't do it. But yeah, he's so intelligent, and like my lab would sit, but she just didn't understand fetch, and like he, to the point of like it annoys me, likes fetch. Like I think any dog does that fetches, but he's just so smart and he can figure things out. He thinks, and like he gets me. I know everyone says that about their dog, but it's not like he knows when I'm sad. He knows when I'm excited. He definitely knows when I'm anxious.
Mm-hmm.
But like sometimes he doesn't give a shit, which is my favorite part about it. Like I'll be stressed out and like crying, and he'll come in and check on me, and then he just like goes back to sleep.
It's
But
like
other
you're still
times,
alive. Okay.
yeah, no, literally. Like during COVID too, I had never worked from home before, and we only did it for 3 weeks, and I had to go back to the lab, which I was so mad about. But because everyone else got to be home, but he was pissed because I was like home interrupting his sleep schedule, and like he was not growl, but like when I would walk through the hallway because he was cranky or something. I don't know, and it was just funny. Like it
That's
upset
cute.
him. Yeah, no, he's the shit, but has long hair, and it's never something I dealt with before, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only ever had a family dog, a Pomeranian. I love big dogs, but I've never had experience owning one. And I have a cat, and it's nice because she's like she actually I think would prefer if I wasn't here. Like she's very, very independent.
It's cats.
It's cats. And like I would love to eventually have a dog, but I just don't I have no experience with that type of responsibility,
It's
like,
different.
Yeah.
Like a cat. Well, my next question was favorite cat breed, but like a cat, they're just autonomous. Like they can just do their thing, litter box, feed them. But a dog, you gotta like pay attention to.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've met many Pomeranians. I've met a few. But
they're like cats.
I usually say anything smaller than a beagle is a cat. But
yeah.
It's like that Chihuahuas and Pomeranians that have definitely personalities that aren't cat-like.
Mm-hmm.
They're just small dogs. I don't know. I love all dogs, and I love cats. Cats scare me sometimes because I don't know if it wants to bite me, or like some cats don't want to be near you. But
yeah, I think you would probably hate my cat. I love her, but when she was a kitten, like I had been fresh off of working with big cats, and some of her things that she did reminded me of big cats. Like she would hiss and like spit at her toys, and I was like, oh my god, you're like a little cougar, like spitting. And so I just like I almost encouraged it, and so now like she spits all the time.
Like I've never seen a cat spit.
Like they go like and like spit comes out.
Okay.
And she does that a lot, and like to anyone it is it's weird and it's horrifying. And I thought it was cute as a kitten, and now she still does it. And yeah, I love her, but she's scary. She can be scary for sure. She's a wild cat.
Is she?
Okay. She's a dilute tortoiseshell.
I'll have to look that up. Dilute tortoiseshell.
Dilute tortoiseshell. So it's like a Russian blue, but with tan spots all over her.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay, I've seen that before. I didn't know that had a name. Mm-hmm. Cool. I had a Norwegian forest cat, or like Maine Coon thing. He was huge. I named him Jon Snow.
Oh hell yeah!
He was a dog. Like I found him outside a party in college, covered in fleas.
Oh my god!
Yeah, like they were just kittens. It was at my professor's house, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the neighbor's cat just gave birth to those kittens all the time, covered in fleas. Don't touch it." And that to me made me go touch it.
Right.
So I brought it home, had him for years. He passed recently, but he would go outside and like hunt in the bushes all the time. He'd be on the roof. And then when I got my dog, I actually used to live right next door to this house, but I would go walk the dog to the park, which is 2 blocks from my house, and my cat would just come out of the fucking bushes at the park and come on the walk with us.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he was fun. And then one day he came home with just this giant gash on his face.
Holy
And
shit.
must have fought some other cat. And then I wasn't here for it, but my roommate told me that one day, like, he was just chilling in his room, and like we left the door open because it's Wyoming and there's no bugs or anything. And another cat came in. It must have been the cat that fucked him up. And my cat was on the counter, and he said it was the craziest sound he'd ever heard. And like the other cat ran out, but Jon Snow was like, nope. Like,
Holy shit.
yeah, he was a cool cat. But again, like, he didn't. It's not like a dog where you can train them. If I'd whistle, he came to me. Hello. But you can't like make him sit or anything. It's just a different animal. But
Yeah,
he is
it's
cool.
a different animal. Yeah, she does not care what I have to say. So
No.
I love
Favorite
it. I
breed,
love
though? Oh.
My favorite breed. I would say, honestly, Maine Coons are so cool.
Fluffy.
I would love to, yeah, fluffy, big, really big. I don't know if I have a favorite cat breed. I think they're all really cute. They're the same, you know? They just have different patterns. Like,
yeah,
they're all the same thing.
that's very true. Like,
Which,
I don't really.
I think, sorry.
Okay.
I think that's really interesting. Like, thinking about the domestication process for each of them. Like,
Yeah.
there was so much more human involvement in the domestication of dogs, and now we have all these different dog breeds because they were like bred for different tasks. But then cats domesticated themselves and just like kind of have a symbiotic relationship with us. And so they just look the same. Like, there's not a lot of diversity in their forms, which I think is cool.
Yeah. My lecture on YouTube, I talked about cats and jokingly said, like, I think they're a wild animal. Like, it's just another one of those things that I look back on. I probably should have been more clear with that. But was just joking. I'm like, they're wild animals, dude. And then I got like a, not cease and desist from the National Academy of Sciences, but
what?
Yeah, a guy who like was an editor or like writes reports for them, like we call him journalist or something, emailed me and was like, hey, I loved your lecture, just like FYI, like, cats are domesticated, and here's several articles I wrote about it. And like, I respected it because he was funny.
Yeah.
But I like was like, huh, I got an email from the PNAS telling me to not say that again, which is a compliment, but kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was chill. So they are domesticated, but they're not in like many ways because they look just like a wildcat. I don't know.
Yeah. And like they can become feral almost instantly. Right?
And be totally fine on their own.
Yeah. My cat, I live next to a lot that has probably 30 cats living on it, and they just like leave food out for the cats. They're all over the roofs. Like, I see them from my place, and my cat could easily go over there and be fine and never see me again. Like, easily.
Yeah. That's kind of how it feels with cats.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was going to say, people send me your cat domestication video and your dog domestication video at least once a month, sometimes 3 times a month. Yeah, like I'll get a message request, and like sometimes I'll go through and look for them when I'm really bored, and like it's the wolf with like your eyes and lips on it, and I'm like, God damn it, Lindsay.
Not again.
Because it's a good video, but like I don't want to be like, seen it, you know, so I just sometimes ignore it. But I'm like, yeah, great video.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that to them, but yes, to you too. Thank you. The cat one was great too.
Thank you. Yeah. I think the cat one's my favorite.
It's accurate.
I wish that I could turn it more into like a series. I don't really know how I would do that because it was kind of just like, this is how it happened. I'm not going to turn this into a fictional story.
They were good. I guess you could do one for horses or something next.
Yeah. I tried to make one about horses and it completely flopped. It was not properly executed.
They tried to milk them first, which would be a weird way to start it. But.
Yeah. I did one about milking cows and drinking it for the first time as well. That one also flopped.
Yeah.
But again, not properly executed. Just kind of a weird topic.
Carnivora instead of ungulates, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Horses are perissodactyla. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perissodactyla. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah. Ungulates.
Ungulates.
Just
I'll
just
leave it there.
ungulates. Yeah.
Favorite extinct animal?
Paraceratherium. I think
That's
I
the
said
big
that.
guy, right?
Yeah. The giant extinct rhino that looked like a cross between an elephant, giraffe, and a rhino.
We did talk about that on the other show.
Yeah, I love that thing. I just like the thought, because I think they got to like 26 feet tall. And I remember when I was making videos about them, I lived in an apartment on the 3rd floor. I was like, I would be able to like see that thing's head walking by
That's
my
crazy.
apartment right now. Like, that's nuts. Yeah.
Why were animals so big then? Do you know the answer to that? I don't.
Different factors apply to different animals. So Paraceratherium was alive, I want to say like 8 or 5 million years ago. And usually when mammals are bigger like that, it has to do with cooler temperatures, which makes sense for, the Pleistocene and everything. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of factors that impact mammals. I mean, it has to do
Bergman's
with
effect, right? Yeah, Bergman's rule.
What's Bergman's rule?
I think the higher latitude you go, the colder it is, the bigger you have to be for it to maintain your body heat or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know how much that applied to Paraceratherium. I mean, I'm sure it was similar factors that impact elephants now. Like, just I wonder if it's similar to whales as well. I mean, different ecosystem completely, but just like there are a lot of benefits to being big. I think like the way that your cells use energy is more efficient in a larger body than it is in a smaller body, if I remember that correctly, but I don't know.
Sounds right, because I probably heard it at some point, but
I feel like I learned that, and I heard it in a lecture one time and like held on to it, and I don't know if I flipped it accidentally.
That makes sense. Yeah. But no, that's fascinating. I never, all sorts of stuff like that just comes to my mind when I should be like sleeping or doing something else.
Yeah,
but,
I feel that.
Yeah, or every mistake you've made, and then it switches to Paraceratherium.
As a coping mechanism.
Yeah, just the dodge. I don't know if you have a partner or not, but when you go on dates and stuff, or if you do, like, what do you tell people you are? They probably
like
know
my job title.
Yeah, I find that so weird and difficult to talk about.
I find it really weird too. So it switched for some reason when I started YouTube. I used to say zoologist. I just left it at that. But now I kind of like I'm still like I'm using my zoology degree, but I feel like there's more distance between now and the last time I worked with animals. So I say content creator that does zoology or zoology content creator and implement that more into my job title. It switches every time somebody asks me. I'm sure that's the same for you.
Yeah, anthropologist is usually what I say, but then I'll be like, I hate saying influencer. It feels dirty. I have to shower. So I just like say, yeah, I do science education or archaeology education on the internet.
Yeah. I think I've said science communicator a couple times, but then people ask what that is. So
yeah. Then do you nerd out on like, people call it autisming on TikTok and stuff, but like I remember going on a date with a girl in New York and she asked me what my thesis was, and I went on and like probably for a half hour about like stone tools, and I was like, oh, this is over.
Yeah.
I just can't. Yeah, I don't know if that happens to you or not. But.
Yeah, I've had experiences both ways. My current girlfriend was really into marine biology when she was younger. Ended up doing psychology, and now she's a like lifestyle content creator. But she loves hearing me nerd out about like what I'm researching, so it works out very well because I need that, that place to like kind of just throw ideas to before I put it into a video. So yeah.
No, fair enough. Is that the one you did the couples costume with? I assume so.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't remember what you were, but I remember you did a couples costume.
Yeah. I was a skeleton.
Grim and Mandy.
Yes.
Okay, I remember now. Yeah. That's weird. I know about your personal life, but anyway, favorite bug.
My favorite bug. I don't know if I even have one.
Okay.
No.
Invertebrate in general, maybe.
Okay, favorite invertebrate. Fuck. Nudibranchs, sea slugs. Love sea slugs.
That was you had that on deck.
Yeah, I
What about
loved
them?
it. So some of them in this specific family can like they eat jellyfish, and rather than digest everything, they separate the stingers of the jellyfish and then use them as their own defense later on. They
That's
recycle
metal.
the stingers. Yeah, it's hard as fuck. And I learned about them in my invertebrate biology class at the very end of a lecture. My professor just like threw in the fact that they did that. And he was like, all right, like, see you next time. And I didn't have time to write it down. And so I went like a year thinking like, did I just hear that? Like, or is that like a real thing that an animal does? And I finally asked another professor and she was like, oh yeah, nudibranchs. And I was like, oh, thank God I wasn't making it up, you know?
How do they wield the stinger? Like, does it become part of their body or they hold it?
No, yeah, it becomes part of their body. So, like, there are other nudibranchs that eat algae and then recycle the chloroplasts and can photosynthesize and make food, like energy from the sun. So they have like different ways of doing it, but it becomes part of them, which is just so fucking insane. You know, like imagine if we could just like eat celery and then the next day we don't have to eat anything because we're photosynthesizing. Like that's nuts.
It's like Kirby and Super Smash Brothers. That's like
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Or, what's the other? Ditto, the Pokemon. I don't know. That was a weird aside. Yes, it would be cool to photosynthesize.
Yeah.
No, that's sick. Nudibranchs, you said?
Yeah. Nudibranch.
Okay, I butchered that, but oh, there it is. Cool. I have not. Whoa.
Dude, they're so cool looking.
It looks like something you'd see on DMT.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Not that I've done that. Let's see. I once photosynthesized. Let's see. Favorite bird.
Favorite bird.
Not blue heron.
Not blue heron. Yeah, I'm coming around to like birds. Probably like a gray go-away bird in Namibia. They do this like their call sounds like they're angry and they're just like up in the trees making this call, like they sound annoyed that you're there. It's like meh. Like it just sounds like that.
Okay. I'm gonna start the podcast with that. Okay. I have that Googled. Oh, they're little.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Cool. What was the next one? Bug, vertebrate, favorite bird. What is your most memorable or like, I guess, sentimental like moment doing science education? Like when you were like, I like this job, and you help somebody or something.
Oh, there's so many.
Fair.
Yeah. I don't know if I can pick out a single moment.
Can you describe like the feeling you had?
There have been a few times that I've gotten messages from people expressing, like that my content helped them through a really dark time or something, or sparked a passion that they had as a kid, or, helped them out of a really dark moment and find, like passion and curiosity. And
Yeah.
Knowing that my videos have that effect on people is the absolute best feeling. Because that's what zoology did for me. Like I had horrible like existential anxiety before I started learning about evolution and prehistory, which was not even, the main point of zoology, but like channeling that anxiety into like learning more about the deep past was so important for me. And so the fact that I'm doing that for other people now is like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like that makes it worth it for me. And yeah, I love that feeling.
Good. It seems to be the general consensus when I ask that question, but it is like when you filter through your message requests sometimes, or I don't know, sometimes they come through, sometimes they don't. But
Yeah.
I guess it depends on if you mutually follow people, I think. But yeah, it like you sit down because you're like, oh man, I did not realize I was doing that for people.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. I'm glad you had that too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to follow up with that, but no, yeah, we'll leave that at that. And then these ones might be hard. You can take a second.
Okay.
I'm going to do dogs and then humans. What do dogs mean to you? I know you're not the biggest dog person.
Well,
We don't have one, I guess.
yeah,
But
I don't have one, but I do. Can you repeat the question so that I answer it right?
So like I was going to ask you, what does it mean to be human? But like, what do dogs mean to you? What do dogs mean
What do
zoologically to
dogs?
you?
Okay. What do
Yeah.
dogs mean? I think dogs are, I mean, for a lot of people, dogs are the first connection that we have to um, the rest of the animal kingdom. It's the first relationship that we build with another species a lot of the times. I think that is really special to like have that connection to another animal. And it the vast majority of the time that somebody has a really special connection to an animal, it's a dog. And that's really cool.
Yeah. Succinct and good. I like that answer. Cool. And clippable. So cool. And then yeah. So I look at humans like zoologically, and I could go into a million reasons what it means to be human and stuff like that. But like as a fellow taxonomically interested person, but also someone who teaches and interacts with people all the time, what do humans mean to you? Or like what's it mean to be human?
That's a good question. I think about this all the time because like there are, especially in like learning about evolution, you
Yeah.
realize that the human experience doesn't really line up with um the original, not the original purpose, but you know what I mean, like there are a lot of ways that our lifestyles have skewed from what is just the basic like what it means to be living in like passing on genes and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like being what it means to be human is to learn and to like experience everything that you possibly can, and yeah, just perceive the world in the most truthful way possible, and just obtain as much knowledge as you can.
Yeah. I like that. Homo sapiens means knowing man in Latin, I think. So yeah, obtaining information and relaying it. I like that answer a lot.
Thanks.
Cool. Well, yeah, dude, I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Me too.
I don't think we've got the chance to ever talk in person before, one-on-one. So
Yeah. No, this was
I
great. And you got to tell me when you come to LA.
was gonna say if I come to LA, I'll do one in person for sure.
Yeah.
But also let's just grab food or something. I don't know, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'm down.
I was trying to name an LA food and then I just blanked. There's tons
We
of
can
food
get
there.
some good Mexican food.
There you go. That is always good there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't really ever like message you memes or talk to you at all. I should probably do that more. But
Yeah.
I enjoy you as a person. Call you a friend.
Yeah, dude.
Then,
I completely agree.
Cool. So I love podcasts for this reason. And then where can people find your book or books and then your socials and you know the drill?
Yeah. You can find my short form content on TikTok at Lindsay Nikole with a K. Instagram, Lindsay_Nikole. Long form on YouTube at Lindsay Nikole. You can find my coloring books on Amazon. Just look up Spooky Specimens and it'll come up. And my merch, my That We Know of collection is out on Spotify. Not Jesus Christ, Shopify. Almost the same thing.
I was just listening, but yeah.
On Shopify at lindsaynicole.myshopify.com.
Okay. I'll put that in the video and put it in the description.
I can send you all the links because I know that's a lot.
That'd be great, and I will forget. Well, I guess when I edit it, I'll remember. But
yeah.
I think that's it. I appreciate you coming on, and I'm planning to do a lot more of these, try to make them weekly, so I might have you on again at some point.
I would love to come back on again. This was so great.
Yeah, I want to get other creators, like have a multiple. That'd be fun.
That would be really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll organize that, and then we can be the They Don't Want You to Know group and do a big Zoom picture. Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks for coming on. And
thanks for having me.
See you. I guess we'll see you around. Talk to you soon. There you go.
All right.
Want more lectures or educational content from me? Consider supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/DavidIanHowe. DavidIanHowe. Or you can buy some shirts, hoodies, stickers, and some art on my website, which is davidianhowe.com, or just go to davidianhowe.com/store. Thank you.